Ninjago episode 77, the Oni and the Dragon. Now, there is something very important about this episode, and it's going to be a staple in the series for a while now, I think. We got a brand new take on the ever so iconic Tale of Ninjago. Now, the last time they made an addition to this, I was very disappointed, actually. The Overlord was not something I was too pleased with. However, I am pleased this time, and I'm happy to report that this is probably the best lore update we've had for Ninjago for old stuff in recent years. So, let's get into this. Now, the idea behind this change is to integrate the Oni into Ninjago Assault. Now, they've never actually appeared before, okay, so I don't think there's been a single mention, single reference, perhaps. There might be in Cozy's design, and Stone Warriors, perhaps, maybe, but nothing incredible, nothing concrete. And now to find out that they're integral to the part that played into Ninjago's creation is quite interesting. However, what's more interesting is the relationship the characters pre-existing have to these Oni and dragons. First Ninjago Master, although it's not clear on exactly what he is, was a child born in that realm with the two powers of the two, races, I suppose. The Oni's power to destroy, and the dragon's power to create. The two children split off into these directions, basically creating Garmadon, an Oni, and Wu, a dragon, at least having their powers deep inside. Now, for years, Garmadon's powers have been explained through one thing: the Great Devourer. Just one day he was bitten by this snake, and all of a sudden his dark powers seemed to come out of nowhere. Now, his mindset could change, perhaps, if that's the way you want to look at it, evil being a disease, metaphorical. However, his powers corrupted for no good reason. Now, we know the Great Devourer was a powerful being, but he wasn't that strong. It was a snake. It had no real goal. It was just going to consume the land. Why Garmadon's powers took such a drastic shift, I didn't understand. However, now it makes sense. He always had that power inside of him. He was always the bad one. Now, I'd actually, shameless plug alert, I had decided to go that route with my series. If you're watching Revolution, Garmadon will show up. I mean, I was expecting to make a Garmadon season anyway. Again, another one. That's the thing. So, shameless plug over. This was always going to happen, right? Even if he wasn't bitten, he would have still had darker powers than Wu. And that's the big thing that I was glad to have answered, because I never really understood the whole balance thing when the two of them were good guys, and balance wasn't really balance. Unless Garmadon went over the top, which is what he did. He was like, where I go, the balance can be destroyed! And there you go balance. However, by definition, you want the same amount of inner realm. So I'm assuming that Ninjago had too much villainy, and Garmadon was the tip of the scale. Of course, the Overlord wasn't even in that realm at the same time, so it's confusing. And where was the Overlord? What realm was he in? Because that was before we even knew about realms. So many answers. However, on the subject of the Overlord, that brings us to another point. The first Ninjago Master is shown to be grey. He's neither good nor evil. He's the middle grey. He's neither destruction nor creation, making the entire Overlord being the bad guy to his light even more confusing. He is, okay, the good guy, right? He created Ninjago. At the end of the day, the first Ninjago Master is no villain. At least not yet. But the Overlord is definitely the bad guy. That was the way that whole one turned out. But what is the Overlord? The weird thing is that he was a dragon. And back in those days, I mean, I'm sure this is a recent development with the Oni. I don't think this has been around for too long, because dragons were used for everything. Ninjago have had dragons in them. It's been an integral part of Ninjago. Maybe not so much in recent years. I mean, the last time we really had a new dragon was back in Tournament, with all of them getting dragons all of a sudden. And so on that note, is the Overlord now a fallen dragon? Is he like a fallen
Good
angel?
and
Is
evil.
he the devil? Is he Ninjago's equivalent of the devil? I mean, maybe. And then, of course, going up one more stage, we arrive at the first Ninjago Master himself. He apparently was a mix between the Oni and the dragons. I don't know if this means that he was like a child of an Oni and a dragon, like Regal style, but I mean, I doubt it. So this leaves us with one real reason to sort of like take from this, is that the first Ninjago Master is like the ultimate power in all of the realms, right? He is the strongest one. Perhaps some individual Oni warlords were as powerful as he was when he created it. He got into Ninjago fully. We don't really know what happened to the first Ninjago Master. For all we know, he could have just seen the same strife and anger and great like creation and just abandoned Ninjago. Like, they think he's dead, but he just left them because he left the Oni and the dragons. Now, of course, from our thing, what we've seen, we can see that, yeah, okay, they fought and they were obviously destructive, even the creation dragons, but we don't know any specifics. We can't make judgments on these characters and possible villains or heroes that might have been in this realm just because the first Ninjago Master abandoned them. So that's, I suppose, everything I gotta say. I mean, we just gotta keep our eyes open, ears to the ground, but if we get any new information, we still don't know much about Ninjago's lore nor the first Ninjago Master himself, or even Wu and Garmadon for that matter. So I hope we do get some more clarification, and also on the elemental powers as a whole, and why the ninja don't have regular ones. I might make a video on that soon. So yeah, see you guys in the next video. Bye!